Greetings to you. Let us explore the meaning behind the lyrics of Imperio Caido by Chaska. In general, the song is about the conquest of the Inca Empire by the Spanish amidst a civil war in the first half of the 16th century. The first verse goes like this. The Spanish under the command of Francisco Pizarro have reached the Inca Empire, or Tawantinsuyu in the Quechua language, by 1526. Huayna Capac, the king of the Incas at that time, has traveled to investigate these mysterious strangers. Although he did not encounter them, he did contract smallpox and died a year later. It was Europeans who have brought the illness to the Americas in the first place, so unwittingly they have already helped themselves in the future conquest, as we will see further. The heir of Huayna Capac, Ninan Cuyochi, died from smallpox the same year. While we are not sure about the precise circumstances in which he has been named heir, we can at least say that his claim was strong enough to be considered legitimate. The same cannot be universally said about the subsequent candidates for the throne, Huayna Capac's other two sons, named Huascar and Atahualpa. Each of the two brothers amassed a group of followers and an army to enforce their claim. That is what the line "Inca blood that flows from a divided heart" means, a brutal civil war. Eventually, Atahualpa has managed to triumph over Huascar, but just as he was recovering from the battles, Francisco Pizarro arrived with the demand to hand over the land to the Europeans. They have been specifically tasked with the subjugation of the locals and, having received a negative response from Atahualpa, have captured the newfound Sapa Inca, aka the king of the Incas. The specific demand of the Spanish was for the Incas to submit to the ruler of the Holy Roman Empire and to convert to Christianity. The refusal to do so was a sufficient pretext to assault the native pagans, and so, metaphorically, the cross of Christianity spelled the end of the empire, as stated in the last line of the verse. Next, the chorus. The ruler of the Incas was considered to be the son of the solar deity named Inti, and was referred to as Intip Churin, which literally means the son of the sun. Pachamama was the Incan goddess of fertility and the earth. In more modern times, she has become roughly equivalent to the Mother Nature type of entity as it is understood by the Europeans. Pachamama literally means World Mother in Quechua, where Pacha is the world, the universe and the time itself, while Mama is mother. Fun fact, in many unrelated languages the words for mother or father sound like mama, papa, baba and so on. This is due to the fact that the combination of a labial consonant, for example m, p or b, with the vowel a is one of the easiest things for a baby to pronounce. It is very likely for a baby to point at one of the most important people in their lives, a parent, most probably their mother, and utter something that is easy to pronounce, like mama. And so the utterance will probably stick and eventually become the name for that parent in that language, which seems to be the case both in English and Quechua, even though the languages are completely unrelated. Anyhow, the last line of the chorus alludes to the fact that the Spanish basically plundered the Incas, stealing what has been metaphorically given by the primordial goddess to her children. One example of such an extortion would be the amount of gold offered by Atahualpa for his release from Pizarro's captivity. It is said that he has offered to fill the room he has been stationed in once with gold and twice with silver, which was probably a really large amount of precious metals. He was not released even upon delivering on that promise, however. And now for the second verse. All in all, things did not go well for the Incas. The noble mentioned in the first line of the verse might be either Atahualpa or Huascar, but that doesn't make any difference. Pretty soon, both of them were dead. Huascar has presumably been assassinated on the orders of Atahualpa, although the evidence for that is not really solid. Atahualpa himself was executed by the Spanish in 1533, and that basically was the end of the fully independent Incan rulers. Afterwards, the empire gradually shifted under the full control of the Europeans, and that was its fall. Some sources say that many Incan nobles were actually quite happy to join the conquerors and help them rule. At the same time, lots of them, including the puppet emperor installed by the Spanish, rebelled against the invaders and continued to resist for some time. So, as mentioned in the first line, the empire was completely disunited, with several seats of power being fought for. A note about the stone fortresses mentioned in the second line. Incas were known as rather skilled stonemasons and had chains of fortresses dotting the landscape for the purposes of defense. It is said that before the battle in which Atahualpa was captured, Francisco Pizarro had argued that once the fortresses behind their lines were garrisoned, it would be impossible for the Spanish to escape unharmed. After the conquest, these structures could have been seen as somber witnesses to the glorious empire that was no more. That's all for the meaning behind the lyrics of Imperio Caido by Chaska. All the links to the band are in the description. Thanks for watching.